So in my last video, I built a gaming PC. If you haven't seen it yet, feel free to go back and watch that video. But afterwards, I began to ask myself, okay, so what does a PS5 rank compared to an entry-level PC? In this video, I tackled that idea. Quick side note, ignore the color differences between the videos from the PS5 and the PC. That would have required color grading, and I ain't got time for all that. Okay, so starting out with Fortnite on PS5. Graphics look great. I mean, it's rendered really nice, it's really colorful. But you can see like when they made little concessions, like if you look away off in the distance, it gets a little blurry, but overall it's a pretty good picture. And then I tried to match the same picture using the PC settings. Looks like a medium matches up well with it, but the rendering is just so much better. Like everything's smooth because I get the option to choose 1080p native, which means there's no upscaling. It's just a really good, great picture. Reason PS5 makes these concessions, I mean, you get to play at 120 frames. Now, if you're ever competing in a game, you know 120 frames is a world of difference. It allows you to react to things, but there's always some slight lag to it. Something I just can't really explain, but it does let you get out of a jam. Now, compared to the PC experience, every frame is felt. Even at 90 frames, you're really aware if you hit a shot or miss a shot, no more of that, oh, what happened? It just makes it so more satisfying when you actually get it off. So all in all, the PS5 seems really focused on trying to give you graphics and at least keep you somewhat competitive. It's a great presentation. You definitely would love to play this, but when it comes time to compete, it's just something that's always slightly off. Whereas with the PC, yeah, it's the superior way to go, man. You feel everything, every frame, every movement. And this story continues when you talked about the next game, Warzone. So Warzone on the PS5 looks really good. I mean, like you can tell they focused on graphics here. Everything was clear, really high definition. Everything is rendered nice. There's a ton of detail. You can see off into the distance. When I tried to copy these same settings on the PC, it just didn't look right. Something was always slightly off. Like something was always a little blurry. Something was always a little jagged, but it got the job done. Now, from a graphical standpoint, I really like the PS5 look. And the PS5 was able to keep a constant 120 frames per second. And this looks really smooth when it's time to compete. Everything's fluid, but as most people may have noticed, even when you put in 120 frame mode, there's always something off. Like someone hits you and it's like you try to react and it's just like you can't see what's really going on, like there's something else going on, and you just die. Whereas on the PC, even if it's running at lower frames, right now I was getting about 90. As soon as someone touches you, you can react to it immediately. Boom, right there. Get yourself out that jam and keep it going. There are so many times in this game where I thought I was dead and I was able to make a clean recovery and pull off something that I know if I tried this on console, I would be dead right now. Yeah, I don't know about you, but I spent a lot of time in the gulag on PS5. But let's call it what it is. Everyone ends up there eventually. Well, the PC clearly wins when it comes to competitive games, but what about single player games where you don't need 120 frames per second? Here we have Hitman running on the PS5, and yeah, the graphics look pretty great. And I maxed out the settings for the PC, and they look pretty similar. I gotta say the only real difference I can see is that the PS5 is locked to 60 frames, where Hitman was getting anywhere from 130 to 170. I mean, even 240 hertz in one room. But yeah, while it's cool to have all those frames, at some point you gotta ask yourself, how many frames does it take to smack someone with a wrench? It's not that many. It's not really that much of a game here. So I tried the same thing with Resident Evil Village. Most of the footage scrapped because it's just darkness, but yeah, it was the same thing. PS5 image looked great. And then when I switched over to the PC, it was the same thing with the settings maxed out, but like 240 frames. But once again, you're walking through a dark castle. How many frames do you need to understand? If you go this way, bad things are gonna happen. So all in all, I found that a PS5 is pretty much comparable to an entry-level PC. It's impressive that the PS5 can even offer this, but at the same time, it's impressive that starting out a PC's baseline is arguably one of the best consoles out. Me personally, if you play competitive games, I would say go build the PC, is worth it. And even if you play single-player games, it still seems like the better way to play it, even though it does seem like overkill at times. So yeah, as usual, if you learned something, like and subscribe. In my next video, I plan on water cooling this PC to help cool down the CPU some. And of course, there's going to be more done to build up the aesthetics of this PC.